I'm Fuzzy D, and this is Fuzzy Road to Health. Today is December 31st, 2023. Current weight, 321 pounds. Total weight loss of about 219 pounds. So I've been carnivore for 350 days. Today's topics, we'll be talking about the state of my health, why I haven't posted lately, life at the gym, and healing beyond carnivore. Let's get started. I haven't posted or gone to the gym in almost 3 weeks because I've been sick. It started with the church Christmas party on Saturday, December 9th, when the turkey with butter I ate turned out to be contaminated with seed oil or vegetable oil or something. This is usually the only thing I react to this badly, this quickly. Within an hour of eating, I was in serious pain. It caused pain and swelling in all my joints, especially my neck. Later that night, the muscles in my neck began to spasm and threw my neck out, but it wasn't too bad at that point. So I went to the gym on Monday morning, seemed fine, albeit a little tired. Within a couple of hours, my neck was experiencing debilitating pain. I went to see my chiropractor for help, and my neck and several places in my back needed adjustment. He also moved a rib, which did cause some pain, but it allowed me to breathe a little better. So it definitely needed to be moved a little bit. I made the mistake of driving my wife around on some errands, which threw my neck out again. So I went back early the next morning for another adjustment. A couple of days later, I went back, and this time something went wrong, and I think I either suffered a bruise or a crack to the same rib. Chiropractor was adjusting a different spot in my back, and maybe he got a little enthusiastic, although I'm a really big guy, so I'm not easy to maneuver around. So, I don't blame him or anything. It's just one of those things. It happens. It's only since yesterday, or the day before actually now, that I can move without serious pain in that rib. So unfortunately, later in the afternoon of my third treatment, I came down with the flu. It turned out to be an especially nasty flu, which has lasted until a couple days ago. I'm still a little weak and coughing up phlegm, but feeling pretty good now. The strain going around here is usually lasting 3 to 6 weeks before people are going back to work. So I got off lucky with only about 2 weeks of it. I'm not sure if my wife brought it home from work or if I was exposed at the gym. Doesn't matter though. I'm planning on being back to the gym soon. I would go Monday, which is tomorrow, but my wife's going to be out of town for a couple days with the van. So I'm hoping to be back on Wednesday, January 3rd. So, January 16th will be my first carnivore birthday. And January is the 7th annual World Carnivore Month. If you've been considering the carnivore diet, now would be the perfect time to give it a go. Now, one of the people you could check out is Dr. Sean Baker. He just put out a video today kind of covering the basics of what you need to know just to get you started and to do it right. That's a great video. I've also got some videos on my channel you can check out. Now, you may notice my face is pretty messed up from psoriasis, thanks to the combination of the seed oil exposure and all the plant medicine I use to get over the flu. It definitely helps, but there are negative side effects as well, at least in my case. Prescription meds aren't the only thing that causes side effects with me due to allergies. Today is the last day I'll be using the fermented ginger formula that boosts my immune system. Before you ask, I can't take most vitamins because they contain fillers, which make me violently ill. So I have to get a little more creative. Now, the fermented ginger formula has fresh ginger, oregano, turmeric, and a couple other things juiced up together and fermented to make the ingredients more bioavailable to humans. And I also use a 5-mushroom tincture of immune boosting complex. Now, the mushroom tincture doesn't seem to have side effects for me, but the ginger formula certainly does, and it triggers my psoriasis. Although it was already triggered by the seed oil exposure, but it definitely didn't help, and it slowly got worse as I was taking it. So it's actually looking a little better today. I've been using an ointment on it that seems to help. Now, what do I mean when I say healing beyond carnivore? So I'm talking about the rest of my health journey. Now, many of us suffer for years or decades before we find our way to healing with carnivore. That doesn't just leave physical damage, it leaves emotional trauma, mental trauma, subconscious behavior that all need to be addressed, along with physical healing. Now, something I found out recently is that strong emotions can actually alter your DNA. So negative emotions can alter it in a negative way and cause all sorts of health issues. Now, I've dealt with a lot of mental and emotional trauma in my life. Some of it I've resolved, some I haven't. The first step is a thorough self-analysis. Now, this look at self has to be brutally honest if you're going to uncover the root of this trauma and deal with it. Now, here's some real talk for a few moments. I have many quirks and personality issues I've become aware of. Many of these result from the trauma I'm alluding to. For instance, I have an almost pathological need to be right. I grew up being told by teachers I was lazy and stupid. I was also always struggling with my weight, and I was constantly picked on and bullied. I think this ongoing trauma has created this particular pathology. It turned out they finally figured out I wasn't stupid or lazy. I have fairly severe dyslexia, although they didn't have a name for it back then. I had terrible social skills, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't get along with people. It turns out I have Asperger's, which is a type of high-functioning autism, and it means that I don't understand social cues very well. So this actually explains a lot, and after I got over the initial shock of this discovery, it actually came as a big relief because it explains so much. Now, I also have some narcissistic tendencies, which I constantly struggle to overcome. I also am dealing recently with self-sabotage, which I've done a couple other videos on. And a part of that self-sabotage is also self-punishment. You know, there's just something inside of me that feels I need to be still punished for things, I think. And a lot of people suffer with this. I think it's something that my wife struggles with too. But I'm not going to get into any details on that. It's not my story to tell. So, looking a little bit more at kind of the history, as a child, I was often sick and spent weeks at a time in the hospital and was on wide spectrum antibiotics until I was about 7 years old, right from birth. Now, I also lost about 85% of my hearing by age 6 due to ongoing ear infections causing scar tissue in my ears. They finally figured out I needed my tonsils removed to fix it. This worked, but by then the damage was done. The doctors told us surgery was the only possible fix for hearing aids. Fortunately, my mom did some research and treated me with vitamin E oil drops in my ears. Over about 8 months, this restored most of my hearing. At 8 years old, I suffered several months of sexual abuse from a foster brother. This was a major trauma in my life and created ongoing emotional and mental issues throughout the rest of my life. And, you know, some of it I've dealt with and been able to let go, but, you know, some stuff is still there that I'm dealing with. So these are the types of things that we have to be able to look at and root out to be able to deal with it and treat it. Now, I've spent many years as a pretty unsavory person. You know, that's in the past, of course. I strayed far from the values I was raised with. I became a criminal, stealing, lying, fraud, drug dealing, alcoholism. I actually started drinking around 10 years old. At 16, I attempted suicide. Home life was traumatic in general. My mother was bipolar but undiagnosed, and I suffered physical and mental and emotional abuse until I left home. This has left me with a lot of unresolved trauma, personality issues, and so on. The reason I'm sharing this is to show how deep I've had to go to root all this stuff out and determine where these undesirable traits are coming from before I can hope to address them. And until I address them, I'm going to keep, you know, self-sabotaging and punishing myself and these types of things. So it's something we have to deal with. Now, I currently use a variety of things to identify and deal with this trauma, and even some types of physical pain. I use prayer, meditation, self-hypnosis, NLP techniques, which is neuro-linguistic programming, healing music, and most recently, a combination of visual and brain-heart coherence exercises. Now, that is a big subject, heart-brain coherence, but we'll get into that in a future video. Over the next few videos, I'll be talking more about these things, what they are, how and why they work. I'll be making 1 or 2 guided meditations, combining many of these techniques into powerful tools. Now, these you can use to achieve this next, excuse me, you can use this to achieve the next level of healing. I've got a long way to go, and you're welcome to travel this road with me. Now, the first video I'm going to be doing this week, upcoming, is I'm going to be showing you actually a pain management technique that uses a combination of visualization, physical interaction with that visualization, and these actually come from these NLP techniques I was talking about. And there's also an element of self-hypnosis in there. It's very, very effective. There's actually some hospitals down in California that are using it in emergency rooms because it works faster and better than many medications. So, it's something that people are starting to learn about and use successfully. Now, I will say that if the pain that you're dealing with this particular technique has a emotional trauma as the cause, which is often the case, it can often permanently get rid of it. But if it's something where you've got actual physical damage that keeps producing the pain, then the pain will come back, but you can use the same technique over and over and over. I used to use it when we had to drive in the van. This was before I started carnivore, before the discs in my lower back healed. And I used to use this technique all the time, especially after I was trying to get off of the morphine and other opiates that I'd been prescribed, that I'd been on for decades. So it was a very useful tool to help me get off of that. Now, full transparency, I also, during the time of coming off of the opiates, I also use some cannabis from time to time to help with the anxiety and stuff. A lot of these other techniques that I use now, I didn't know back then. And some of these techniques I've just learned recently, just in the last few weeks while I was sick and doing some research. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Without you, this channel would not exist. So if you found this video useful, it would mean a lot to me if you could like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my upcoming deep dives into these topics. If you know someone who you feel could benefit from this video, please share this with them. You can also check me out on Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Odyssey. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.